Hey YouTube, it's AceBlade258. I just thought I'd show you guys the deck I ran at Regionals this week. I went 7-0 in Swiss, lost to top 16. That's this deck right here. I'll show you guys that in a minute. I guess I can give you... Actually, no, first I gotta do a few things. First, congratulations to Perry, a PGMCS skater. He went 9-2 total, won regional championships in Virginia. Yeah, definitely did a fantastic job there, Perry. Congratulations again. That's your second major tournament win. And I think it's your third or fourth tournament win. I don't know. Either way, you did a friggin' amazing job, dude. Next thing, I gotta thank my friend Ross for driving us all the way there and back. He drove Perry, myself, and himself, obviously, up to Catherine's house where we chilled. And then he drove... well, all four of us, Catherine, Perry, and myself, up to Virginia and then back to Catherine's house for the night where we crashed again. And so, thanks to him for driving us. Yeah. And then, lastly, thanks go out to C.A. Peter, or Catherine, my girlfriend, because she lent me a great majority of this deck because I didn't feel like playing the version I had, which was almost entirely reverse. And that was unacceptable because apparently reverse hollows clump horrifically. So she lent me a lot of cards for that so I didn't have to play a bunch of freaking clumping revs. So many thanks to her for that. But yeah, I guess I'll just get on with showing you guys my list. I feel like there was something else I was going to say, but I don't really care. Yeah, oh, I know what I was going to say. I'm recording this on my phone. I want to see how it looks. If you guys think it looks like shit, let me know, and I'll switch to another camera I'm borrowing from Perry. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, to start, here's the list. Bronzong, obviously, it's an SP deck. I mean, you just have to play Bronzong because the energy moving is way too important. Crobat is really, really useful for damage counters. I went with a 3-1 Dialga line. These are the only non-reverse card, or these are the only cards that have hollow on the not picture in the whole deck because they were the only cards I could not find any regular hollows of. But anyway, I went with 3-1 Dialga because Dialga's start is ridiculously critical, so I felt it was extremely important to get that, so the 3-1's more consistently starting that, but I only started it one time all day, which is pretty funny. Dragonite FB, it's great for Luck Shot Match, it's great for a mirror, it's great anytime you play anything SP. Drifbloom FB is probably one of the scariest cards I can think of, because Shadow Ball will screw your ass up. I mean, really, it just picks off Pixies with a Flashbite. Great for picking off Vileplume in a bad situation where I couldn't get DGX out. Overall, just a really good card. I decided to go with 2-2 Garchomp. Mostly because I'd like to have that ability to do 6 total healing breaths. Actually, 7 total healing breaths in a worst case scenario. So, I went with 2-2 Garchomp for that. Skuntank G, critical for the Vilegar matchup. Poison avoids Feigning Spell. It also avoids Rescue Energy, so you can just run around people. Really, it's critical in any match that's not SP. Skuntank is ridiculously awesome. Azelf is a given. Unknown Q, also a given. Uxie, I went with a 2-1 Uxie. I've seen people go with 3-1s, but I didn't feel the third Uxie would have helped me at all. I actually found myself starting it a few times when I had 3-1, so I had to drop back to 2-1. Overall, I'm really happy with it. Excuse me. Anyway, next is Aaron's Collection. That's a granted, it's an SP. It's a great SP recovery. Get your basic energies or your Pokemon SP back. I went 2 BBs because of Vilegar. It's pretty prevalent in the format here. Under Trainer Lock, it's how you get your DGX out, so obviously it's needed. For Cyrus is Conspiracy. Yeah, I love this card. Just saying, YouTube, everyone loves that card. 2 Judge rocks. I usually use it mid-late game as opposed to the typical early game usage. It's more disruptive there, especially when playing against Dialga, because I'll have deafened you and just screwed your hand tight anyway. And then once you're finally set up to be ready to be freed of the deafen, I'll judge you and then break deafen lock with a remove loss or something like that. It gets really frustrating. I went with 4 Pokemon Collector because I do not play Call Energy at all. I don't know many Dialga Chomps that play Call, but there are a few, and I definitely do not play Call Energy, and you just need to be able to get your basics out, so Collector for consistency purposes. Late game, it makes the Junk Arm fodder, great Junk Arm fodder. Sometimes it becomes hand clutter, but you just have to deal with that. Twins is next on the list. It's Twins. It's great for when you're losing against Gyarados. I typically would give them a prize and then use this to get my Dialga out, and that would give me a huge advantage. Energy Exchanger, just the ability to search out the special energy, whether it be the DCE or the special metal, is really awesome. Energy Gain. I play 2 of them. A lot of people play 3. I don't see the need for the 3rd. It just becomes clutter too easily. I just haven't had use for it. I mean, typically what I'm doing is I'll use the E-Gain to get the turn 1 deafen, but then after that I'll attach the second metal to a bench Dialga, Galactic Switch the first Poke-Turn, and belt the new one. Just because having a belted Dialga is so much better. I play 1 Expert Belt, by the way. 1 Junk Arm. I'd like to have 2, but I only had room for 1, and I just felt it was an important card, so it needed to be in here. 4 Poke-Turn, because otherwise Dialga Chomp doesn't work. Plus Poke-Turn is Poke-Turn. Premier Ball. It's awesome. Level X search lets me get my Uxie X back, or one time I even actually threw away an Uxie X into there to pull back the Premier Ball and then shuffled it into the deck with a judge. And then later in the game I was able to get the Uxie X more easily, so that was awesome. 2 SP Radars. It's SP Radar, once again. I mean, it's played in an SP deck. VS Seeker, it's great. Really, everyone knows that, though. You get to use a supporter again that you've already used. It's completely bitchin'. Ruins of Elf, great for the Luxchomp matchup in particular, because it cuts the resistance off the Luxray, so Luxray can't just wall you. So, I only play 1 Ruins. The more prevalent stadium I like is Snowpoint. It's great in just about every single matchup, even the Luxchomp matchup. That extra 20 HP is pretty significant, and when you think about it, a lot of people say that playing this down in a Luxchomp matchup is a bad idea, but the fact that I'm playing it means I'm prepared for it. The Luxchomp player isn't necessarily prepared for it. Yes, it's a big advantage and is helpful, but my strategy was going to be based on this anyway, whereas Luxchomp's strategy isn't taking this into account until it hits the field. So they changed their strategy a bit, and it could cause them to make mistakes. 4 DCE, because I'm playing both Dragonite and Garchomp, and plus Garchomp's Dragon Rush is way too awesome to not play DCE. 4 Special Metal, I mean, it's a metal tank deck. What else do you need to know about those? 2 Warps, that's what you use Garchomp for. You warp back, Galactic Switch up to the Garchomp, and then Healing Breath and Poke-Turn it. 2 Basic Metals, just in case, so I can do a remove loss in the event I've lost all of my special metals or something weird has happened. It's good to have these. And then lastly, the Psychic Energy for Driftblim. Yeah, that's my list. Nothing particularly special. But I figured it's actually pretty funny the reason I decided to play it. I built this shortly after States as a joke deck, and was too lazy to put Luxchomp back together, so when I went up to regionals, I just went playing with this, and went 7-0 in Swiss. It was pretty freaking awesome. But yeah, so, as a sort of recap, congrats to Perry, thanks to Ross and, or my friend Ross and Catherine, so... yeah, thanks guys. I guess I'll use this area here-ish, I don't really know, to post links to their profiles. Ross doesn't have one, but, you know, whatever. Well, if you managed to watch this all the way through, thanks a bunch. See you around.